Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, addicts of all ages, welcome to Canadian Sober, eh? I'm your host and resident alcoholic, Dougie Fresh. Glad you're here with us today. Well, there's a special holiday around the corner, and that can make it very tricky and hard for certain addicts. I know from my past experiences that's very true. So today's guest, I have somebody on from the Simcoe Peer Support group in Collingwood. They deal with mental health and addictions, and she's going to come on. But I will say that she's going to give some awesome advice and maybe some tips on what you can do when you're in certain social settings. May I introduce Shawnna? Shawnna from Simcoe Peer Support for Mental Health and Addictions. How are you doing today, Shawnna?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So can you tell me a little bit about what Simcoe Peer Support is all about and what you guys kind of do there?
So Simcoe Peer Support is an organization that deals with mental health and addictions. And it's fully peer support. So staff also lives with mental health and addictions in some capacity. So people are surrounded with their peers everywhere within the organization. Things that we offer, we have daily self-help groups along with workshops to support people with mental health and addictions. Three of our most popular groups during the week are our mental health group, our concurrent disorder group, and our positive check-in group. The positive check-in group we do on Fridays, and it's a group to focus on the positive that we've done in recovery. Oftentimes we focus on the negative, and we also we always like to highlight the end of the week with a positive in what we've done in our recovery. Some of the workshops that we offer are things such as self-esteem, cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and the list goes on. We have many workshops. We also provide one-on-one support for more personalized and individual support. We also offer recreational activities. So all of our groups run in the afternoon, and the recreational activities run in the morning. So we have things like yoga, meditation, arts and crafts, a walking group, movie afternoons here and there. We also have community partners come in and share about their organizations, along with members who want to share their story and how their recovery journey has gone. So we've had organizations like the Health Unit in my friend's house. We've had nutritionists in, and I mean, again, the list goes on. We've got the Health Unit coming in this month to do a training on the naloxone kits. So that's kind of the idea of how the program runs from Monday to Friday. And some other information about the program. Obviously, living with mental health and addictions, we do require an intake by appointment first, initially, before somebody comes in to utilize the programs. And that's just more to get to know somebody. And there's some other formalities like confidentiality agreements and all that fun stuff. There's no fees with the program. There's also no wait list. Oftentimes we get people in if they call within that week, if not the next week. There's no requirement for a referral. People can self-refer or just walk in off the street. We are mandated 16 and up. So
right, and so like to kind of go back, how did you come across like doing this as a career? Like did you suffer from addictions or mental health? Like is that why you chose to go in this path, in this direction, or was it something else?
The reason I got into this field was not for my own addiction issues, but family members living with alcoholism and friends that I had seen struggle with drug addiction.
Right. So how long have you been with the company now?
Since 2007.
Right. And how long has Simcoe Peer Support actually been in Collingwood?
It's been in Collingwood since 1994.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
with a couple moves here and there and a name change. Some people might still know us as the Mental Health Consumer Survivor Project. That's our former name. And we recently, probably within the last 5-ish years, changed the name because we didn't feel like the old name kind of suited what we did. So
Right. Now, you mentioned something there that I was thinking about actually on the weekend when I was glancing your brochure with the 16 and up. Do you find that it's kind of always been like a certain age of people that come into the door? Do you have, like, say, more people since COVID that are maybe 16 or older coming in? Or like, what do you think? What has it been like since after COVID is mainly what I'm trying to get at. Do you think that mental health has kind of increased? You've seen an increase in your numbers, or do you think it's kind of just been the same since before?
So the bulk of the people we see are kind of middle-aged. We don't see a lot of younger people. I think that's mostly because they're still in school. We do get the odd student-aged person come in. But again, with our hours, it's hard for us to kind of meet with them. As far as COVID goes, definitely we've found that people have struggled significantly with their mental health. Um, as far as our numbers increasing, we recently moved last January, and we've had a few moves over the course of time, and we've found historically when we have a move, it's hard to get people kind of back in because we like things that are familiar, right? And it's hard to get people kind of back in. And then on top of that, we had COVID, so our numbers are a little bit lower than they normally would pre-COVID. We also still have people who are still a bit leery about coming out and being around people because of COVID. So there's a number of different challenges for us as far as that goes. And one of the things that we did during COVID was we did virtual groups every day while we were all kind of isolated. And we've kept one virtual group a week for people who are still not sure about coming in. So we've kind of left that open so that everybody can get the support that they need.
Right. So one thing I want to touch a little bit on is, like, if I was to walk in there and I needed assistance with housing, or I needed assistance with, groceries are really tight this month and I don't have enough money to get by. Do you guys help the people along with stuff like that? Or are you just mainly, mental health and addictions, like, people suffering from stuff?
No, we would certainly help them with resources. If it's not something that we can do, we would kind of connect them with the proper resource in the Housing Resource Center, Salvation Army for things like food. There's also the pantry over by the church. So we would certainly help them find resources that are beneficial to their needs. Direct them to 211. I mean, we do it everything as far as if somebody has some government documents and they need some support filling out those documents, we'll help them as best we can. So we're kind of jacks of all trades here. We kind of do it all.
Right. Now it's not just you, right? Like when I came in for the tour, and thank you so much for the tour of your facility. I didn't get to meet one person there, but I met another lady that works with you. and there's a team of how many of you?
We have three full-time staff. So there's myself, Dawn Davidson, who is our program coordinator, and Julia Millman, who is our peer advocate. And those are our three full-time staff. And then we also have a volunteer, Tina Romalo, who comes in and helps us out when we need some extra support if we're out of the office or anything like that.
Right. And you guys kind of touch on, like, you're specialized in one thing and somebody else might be specialized in something else. So if I came in with, I'm an addict. So if I come in and I say I need help, getting clean and is there any resources you guys have? So you would point me in the direction of that person that deals with mostly addictions, correct?
We don't necessarily have specialized areas. We kind of all do everything, but we certainly all have our strengths. Julian specifically lives with bipolar. So, I mean, he can touch on that end of things. He also lives with addiction. Myself, I live with anxiety and codependency. And Dawn lives with depression and anxiety as well as addiction. So it's not that we specifically specialize in different things, but we certainly have areas where we're stronger for sure in that topic.
One thing I wanted to ask you, the holidays are right around the corner. I know as an addict that, this was extremely hard for me in my first year. Is there any tips you can give to the addict out there, or anybody that, suffers from mental health? Is there anything you can suggest that they do, tips that they can try to maybe get out of the situations that they're in? What are your thoughts on that?
So set realistic expectations for yourself, setting boundaries, creating an exit plan specifically for addiction. So if you're out somewhere where somebody is using, create an exit plan for yourself where you can exit that situation, people, places, and things, right? So it's important to have that pre-planned so that you can get out of there. You don't feel like you're stuck. Some other things that might help during the holidays too is practicing relaxation, things like mindfulness and meditation, yoga, other things that might be helpful too, because it is a challenging time for a lot of people. Some people can't see their family or just don't have contact with their family anymore. Check in with your emotions, journal, chat with like-minded people through group supports, whether it's in person or online. Make sure you're getting proper sleep and exercise. Create a list of people you can call, whether it's friends, family, crisis lines, things like that. If you feel like you're in a situation that you can't get out of, have those lists handy so that you can get yourself out of situations that you don't want to be in. Mental health services now is a great advocate for us. They send many, many people over our way. And the South Georgian Bay Family Health Team and the CHC in Wasaga Beach all have now kind of gotten to know us a little better. So they send many people our way as well. And both the CHC and mental health services have been doing some workshops with our members. They come here and put those workshops on here for our members. So, yeah.
Right. But do you think because you're in another building, like you share a building with another facility, and then you're kind of tucked in a corner? So, in your opinion, do you think if you were like on a main street or you were kind of like out in the open, that more people would drive by and say like, oh, wow, there's a mental health and addictions place like right there. And then, if they had a family member or something like that struggling, you might see more people coming in your door? Or do you feel that, no, that wouldn't be the case? And, mostly people that have mental health issues or addiction issues, they're going to go somewhere, like you said, and then those people will refer them to you.
That's hard to say. I think that kind of being hidden a little bit makes it a little bit easier for people to come in because of the stigma of mental health and addiction.
Mm.
Not only that, we do have people who come in who don't want their family and friends to know that they're coming here. So if the organization was kind of more public and in the open, I think that we would have less people coming in for that reason because of fear of people knowing that they're coming to something like this. Because unfortunately, stigma is still pretty huge.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so happy that Rogers, agreed to do this show, because I want to smash that. To be honest with you, I don't think people should be embarrassed that they need to get help. And one thing Joe Tilley talked about last week was it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
As a counselor, how would you encourage this the most? In people to kind of show them that asking for help is not a weakness. Like, how would you do that?
Um, just I think for us here, I think just encouraging people to share their stories and listening contently and not interrupting somebody who's telling their story, because it is such a vulnerable thing for people to share their stories as far as mental health and addiction goes. Um, Being patient and kind and non-judgmental, and ensuring people that confidentiality is major in organizations like ours and mental health services and CHC and all those places, right? We take that stuff very seriously. So
Absolutely, and I'm glad you do. Because not everybody is out in the open like I am, and some people just can't. And so like confidentiality and all that stuff is very important. Um, you know, I was talking a little bit about something, that I'm going to bring up right now, and it really excited me because I was like, wow, maybe I want to go here and enjoy some, social trips and stuff like that. I could use something in my life, So when I started Canadian Sober A, I rented out the bowling alley, and we invited family and friends, and people's kids could come, and we had a great time. It was a great outing, and I got to see people that normally weren't in the laughing mood. I got to see the lighter side of them, and they were just having fun. So tell me why it's important, and maybe touch on some of the events that you've done and why it's important to have these social events.
so along with the hard work of recovery, something that we advocate for with our members is that having fun is important. A lot of our members are on Ontario Works and ODSP, and they don't have extra funds to be able to do that fun stuff. And when they do that fun stuff, they often have guilt because they feel like I'm not working, I'm on ODSP, so I don't deserve that. So we like to make sure people understand that fun is just as important in recovery as the hard part of recovery, the hard work. And some of those activities that we've done in the past are we've gone bowling, we've gone and done mini putt, we've been on boat cruises. We've been over to the movie theater for a movie afternoon. So those are some of the things that we've done. We've done potluck lunches and things like that. So
Right on. Okay, so um, peer support. When it comes to peer support, how important is peer support to somebody that's coming in? Like, how important is it if I came in and I basically just need a friend to show me the ropes and show me kind of like what I need to do on an everyday kind of basis. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
so peer support is just another piece of the puzzle. You've got psychiatrists and therapists and doctors. You've got peer support. Peer support's just another piece of the puzzle. It's really important for people living with mental health and addictions and or addictions to be around like-minded people, to understand that they're not alone. Oftentimes people come in here and they'll often say, I didn't know that there was anybody that thought the same way I did. And there's that special bond between people here. And that's what makes it so important, is that they feel heard. And they know that these other folks in here understand on some level. They'll never understand that person's story and stuff to the fullest degree, but they'll understand on some level, right?
Right. One thing that you have in your brochure is, and I think you mentioned a little bit about it, but I kind of wanted to know a little bit. So the check-in group, when you talk about people checking in, to the viewer who has no idea what, any of this stuff is, what do you mean about the check-in group?
So on Friday afternoons, we have our positive check-in group. And again, oftentimes it's easy for us to find the negative in a lot of situations. So the positive check-in group is to highlight the positives in our week. Sometimes something, and I don't want to say something as small as, but something as big as getting out of bed some days is a challenge for people. And the fact that they got in that day for that group is a huge positive. So just kind of highlighting those successes, because it is so easy to focus on the negative.
Right. If you were to sit here right now and you were to look like at a crystal ball and you were to say like what the future holds for addiction and mental health, do you think it's going to get better, or do you think it's going to get worse in your opinion right now? Like the way, and what I mean by that is the way it's going right now, like everything, like prices are going up for everything. That adds stress on people. Rent is through the roof. Groceries are through the roof. Has it gotten worse? Is it going to get worse in your opinion, or do you think it's going to get better?
I think that stigma will get better. But as far as the inflating costs of things, I certainly think that will make things more challenging for people. It's a struggle. I mean, finances is one of the highest stress things that we can deal with, and things are not getting cheaper out there. So I certainly think that it will have an impact on people's mental health and addiction for sure.
So if you were to, right now you're sitting at town council, you're looking at all the council people, and you want the perfect facility, the perfect whatever it is that you need to do your job. What would you need from, say, the town of Collingwood? What would you need from the community? What would you ask for?
Well, we are a nonprofit organization. We are funded through Ontario Health, but we get around $250,000 a year, and that includes all programming, our rent bills, payroll, everything. So we do have to function off of fundraising as well. So rallying the community to help fundraise. We're always looking for volunteers who are willing to join our board of directors as well as volunteer to help with fundraising.
So when you say fundraising, what would you say? What do you guys do, say, to fundraise?
So one thing that we did do pre-COVID was the Defeat Depression Walk. We had done that 3 years before COVID hit. Now it seems since COVID, the organization that did the walk has really kind of gone small since COVID. So we haven't done that since pre-COVID. Fundraising has always been a challenge for us. Staff due to our accountability agreement, staff is not to have anything to do with fundraising. So the board and our members are supposed to lead the fundraising. Unfortunately, due to the nature of mental health and addictions, it's really challenging to find people who are able to stick with it. That's just the nature of what we do.
Right. So, I get it. Totally get it. How would you, okay, so right now you're not talking to me, you're talking to the person sitting at home who knows a relative that maybe could use your facility or that could benefit from your facility. How do they get in touch with you? Tell them how they get in touch with you.
So they can call us at 705-444-1844, or they can go to our website at mentalhealthandaddictions.com. And there's a contact form on there where they can email the staff within the organization. We also have an Instagram page, and we also have a Facebook page, all under Simcoe Peer Support. So you can either message us through our public page on Facebook, or each one of the staff have their own profile on Facebook. So those individual profiles can be messaged as well.
Awesome. Shawnna, I want to thank you for coming on Canadian Sober today and sharing these wonderful things that you shared with everybody today. I know these are going to benefit a lot of people out there that maybe had no idea, like myself, that you guys existed. Maybe you'll see an influx of people in the next couple of weeks. But if you're listening to this right now and you're sitting at home and you're thinking, I got to go see Shawnna, tomorrow or whatever, tell them Dougie Fresh sent you, and Shawnna will buy you an ice cream cone. I'm just joking. She won't buy you an ice cream cone, but we can get. It's very important that you get these services out there to the people that need them. So thank you so much for being here today. I wish you guys nothing but the best of success. I hope it gets better out there. I'm praying it gets better out there. And we'll see you around the bend, Shawnna.
Thank you so much for having us and finding us and helping put us out there. We appreciate that so much.
Awesome.